When you have your own website, you need two things: a domain name and a web hosting account. Your domain name is your website address, also known as your URL. In a previous video, I walked you through how to go about registering your domain name. In this quick video, I'm going to give you my tips for purchasing web hosting, and I'll also give you my recommended places for where you can purchase your web hosting from. Hi, I'm Kelly Ward, and I help entrepreneurs with both the design and the techie parts of your website and social media so you can stand out online and spend more of your time doing what you are good at. If this sounds like something you'd be interested in, and why wouldn't you be, go ahead and click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my videos. Okay, let's talk about web hosting. One important thing to understand is that you don't need to buy your web hosting account from the same place where you registered your domain name. For example, Namecheap.com and GoDaddy.com are two of the most popular domain name registrars, but I do not recommend that you also buy your web hosting from them. More on that in just a minute. First, let's talk about the different types of web hosting. When you first start shopping for a web hosting account, you'll probably hear about shared web hosting accounts and a dedicated server. Shared hosting is where your website shares a web server with lots of other websites. So for a blogger or a small business who is just starting out on WordPress, shared hosting will likely be the best option for you. It's also the least expensive. A dedicated server is when you rent an entire web server from a hosting company, but you shouldn't need this until you have a significant amount of traffic. When it comes to cost, shared web hosting can cost as little as just a few dollars a month, whereas a dedicated hosting plan will cost you $100 or more per month. Now, you might be tempted to just go for the cheapest hosting that you can find, but be careful. Many of the cheaper web hosting plans out there are lacking in features, customer support, and can even be magnets for getting hacked. So now that you understand the different kinds of web hosting that are out there, let's talk about what you should be looking for in a web host for your WordPress website. First, look for a web host that supports WordPress. Since WordPress is the most popular content management system in the world, most hosting companies support it, but it's worth checking with them just to make sure. Some of them will even install WordPress for you for free when you sign up for their web hosting. Even better, some hosting providers offer web hosting plans that are optimized specifically for WordPress websites. This can help your site to run faster than it would otherwise, and it may include additional security features too. Features. Most hosting companies have a range of packages for shared hosting, so you can pick one that meets your needs in terms of how much website traffic you think you'll get and the storage space that you need too. But you'll also want to check to make sure the packages include any other features that you might want. For example, my #1 pick for web hosting includes nightly backups, automatic WordPress core updates, and extra security measures to prevent, detect, and fix your website if it gets hacked. Now, of course, the more features the web hosting account includes, typically the more expensive the hosting plan costs. So you'll want to decide how much you can afford in order to get the features that you want. You can see the video description below for links to my top 2 WordPress web host recommendations. Reliability. You definitely don't want your site to suffer from long or frequent periods of downtime, so always check the hosting company's uptime statistics. You can also search online for customer reviews of hosting companies. And customer support. If you're just starting out with a new WordPress site, you may have some questions, so check what support is offered by your hosting company before you buy. Look at the support hours, especially if they're not available 24 hours a day and are in a different time zone from you. And also check if they offer a range of ways to get support, for example, by email, by phone, or live chat. And do you have a dedicated person that you always contact with questions or issues, or will it be a different support person each time you contact them? Now that you know the website basics, you can start shopping around for the best web host for you. Ask other website owners who they recommend as well. And if you want my recommendations, I've listed my top 2 web hosting provider recommendations in the description of this video. After you purchase a web hosting account, the next step is to connect your domain name registration to your hosting account so that when someone enters your website address in their browser, they get to see the website that you have uploaded to your web hosting account. Now, there are 2 different methods of doing this, and the method that you use will depend on your web hosting provider. Some web hosts will want you to use their name servers, and others will want you to use their IP address. I have videos on how to do each of these methods, but before you go check them out, make sure you hit subscribe so that you don't miss out on any more of my videos.